In the debate on skiing versus snowboarding, what side do you stand on? I sure know what side I stand on. I think that skiing is a better choice than snowboarding. I invite you to listen to my speech and to consider why skiing is better than snowboarding. I've been skiing ever since the young age of 7, where both my parents taught me how to ski. I've been to multiple resorts and states in the United States, and I've also been to resorts outside of the country. I additionally have friends who ski and snowboard, and I've skied and snowboarded myself, so I've experience with both sports. I will begin by giving a brief overview of why skiing is the better choice, then I will give some points on why skiing is better with relevant facts. I will address the opposing side, but use reasoning and facts to reiterate my stance on why skiing is overall better. I understand that skiing tends to be a more widely practiced than snowboarding, and additionally, there are less reported injuries when skiing. Skiing is the more popular choice. According to the New York Post, in the 2013-14 ski season, snowboarders made up only 28% of visitors to U.S. resorts. Skiing generally remains to be more popular. This means it's easier to find ski friends and equipment. Also, skiers have more access to resorts such as Alta, Deer Valley, and Mad River Glen in Vermont. These 3 resorts only allow skiers, so skiers have more access to these resorts. Skiers also generally experience less injuries than snowboarders. According to the Huffington Post, injury rates in snowboarders have fluctuated over time, but currently they still remain higher than skiers. Skiers experience less injuries than snowboarders. Oftentimes on snowboarder, it's easier to fall because they require more balance. Also, there's more serious injuries reported with snowboards, such as spinal injuries, dislocated and separated shoulders, broken wrists, and concussions. There are many arguments that advocate for skiing over snowboarding, but there are also arguments for why snowboarding is better than skiing. I understand that many people would argue that snowboarding is better than skiing, but I think there are definitely more pros to skiing than there is to snowboarding. Many snowboarders argue that boarding is better because they don't have to use poles. I personally think poles are a huge pro, as they're extremely helpful and critical for balance on the slopes, especially when you're doing moguls or backcountry. It is very helpful to have poles. Also, they help grab things you drop. I can count many of times where I've dropped a glove, and instead of crawling back up the slope, I can just use my pole to reach it. Also, some snowboarders argue that it's better because they can sit down wherever they want. I personally think that this is a disadvantage, as oftentimes when you're sitting down so much, you can get cold and wet snow pants, which is just generally an uncomfortable experience. Also, when you sit down, snowboarders always have to sit down to strap up their gear before every single run, and this is just a huge waste of time. There are even more reasons to choose skiing around snowboarding, and I will give you those reasons. Chairlifts and other parts of the resort are generally aimed towards and around skiing, and it's overall more efficient. Skiing is overall more efficient. Ski resorts are kind of made for skiers. As you can tell, there's things like the ski lift. It's named after a ski lift, a ski pass, ski resort. And chairlifts are just meant for skiers. Oftentimes, if you sit on a chairlift with a snowboarder, their board will be pushing on the back of your skis, and it's uncomfortable, and it's a lot easier for snowboarders to fall off the lift than it is for skiers. Also, skiers have easier access to terrain and don't have to wait to start a run. And this makes them just overall more efficient. When you ski, you can jump straight off the lift and go straight to a run. Oftentimes in snowboards, you can't do this because you have to strap up before every run. Skiers can also go faster than snowboarders. According to Ski School, the top recorded speed of skis is 157 miles per hour, while the top recorded speed of a snowboarder is only 126 miles an hour. Skis, you don't have to remove your skis to reach certain terrain. Oftentimes when it's very flat, snowboarders have to take off their snowboard so that they can walk, whereas skiers can just skate and push themselves forward. In conclusion, skiing is better than snowboarding. It's more widely accessible, it's safer, and more efficient. If you choose to ski, there's more access to resorts and terrain, it's safer, and you will end up being more efficient on the slopes. Choosing skiing has been the best choice for me. I've made some of the best memories of my life, and I've met so many friends through skiing. And skiing has allowed me to reach tougher terrain and be more efficient on the slopes.